Hello, this is a video response to Professor Anton. I'll try to get the link in there, but it might take a while with all the processing time and stuff. I have to do it after. But yeah, I mean, the title of that video, and I may talk about Professor Anton a bit in the third person since he doesn't talk to me. Um, he says, "Is consciousness inside space-time?" And I was pleasantly surprised that at first he acknowledged Fred's point that it can't really be. You know, if space-time is made of dreams or jam or whatever it's made of, I mean, the definition of it is such that whatever it is, it's what everything is going on within the framework of. And I think there's a tremendous amount of confusion because, of course, our concept of time, our concept of space, what we mean when we say time and space, that's dependent on our consciousness. But so is our concept of red and our concept of warm. And, you know, there's still, by our extension, some sort of some sort of phenomena that would exist whether we perceive it or not. That's what the model proposes. And you know, if to me it's a lot like if someone were to say that the word processor, you type a bunch of words into the word processor and then the word processor is working, you know, it's doing a spell check in the background. It's as if to say that that process of the spell check is not in space and time. In reality, you know, it takes time to perform, and it's occurring in a space. So it's a subset, and this is always true of any domain in which you wish to eliminate consideration of space and time and go beyond it. You're really just going without it, and the whole process still exists within space and time, but you've created a little domain where you don't have to spend your time thinking about time. So, for example, in mathematics, you know, x squared minus y squared, that's the same as x plus y times x minus y. So you could have one equal to the other, and those are equivalent in mathematics. Well, in reality, if a human or a computer is going to perform those as performative procedural calculations, there's going to be different instructions involved. They'll take different amounts of time. But math doesn't care. Math ignores those differences. We bring those differences back in when we apply math or whatever, and this gives voice to the fact that space and time don't go away just because you create a domain, a subdomain in which you get to ignore them. You know, and the concept that consciousness somehow has to go out of space and time because of the way we experience it, or because the phenomena that materially happen, you know, are somehow, you know, not, you know, choosing not to take that into account. And the real question here is one of solipsism. Again, it doesn't matter what material reality, space and time is made of. It could be jam or dream stuff. The point is that it is the domain, the field on which our behavior is happening. So the question is solipsistic. You know, do you think that you can establish that there are other agents out there? If so, then loss of your own agency within that model does not mean loss of all the facts, right? It's just loss of your relation to those facts. Other people still relate to those facts. And the idea that that is possible is a denial of solipsism, and it's what provides us with an actual rational basis for a definition of external. In other words, external is really those things that are in between the subjectivism, that are intersubjective, somehow in between us, and we can say even without those other agents, their potentiality exists. So as an individual agent, I can assume there's this so-called external world simply because I'm not solipsistic. Even if I don't have access, if I'm not conversing, if I'm not granting agency to any particular person, simply the idea of this, the idea that I can grant a kind of virtual agency to a stone in that it has its own thing in itselfness, that is external from me, that if I never see it, it would still exist, that if I see it and go away and come back, that it'll still exist, that it has its own continuity. But ultimately, even that, even where I'm the only agent in the universe, there's still a sort of a denial of solipsism because I'm saying, well, there's these other points of view. And this is how we establish the idea of extensionality. And if you cannot create a domain that at the foundation does not have space and time, then there is no beyond space and time. Now, the human brain obviously takes time to operate and space to operate. So the idea of attributing some spaceless, timeless category to some feature of it really just doesn't make any sense.